No one think, you sure? Well, one exception. Oh wait, we're one exception. One exception? What? John S. Special does interview. Leaves the studio. End quote. Come on. It's a joke. Get it? Not funny, I know, but still. Did something leave the studio that night? Why does that sound familiar? Have I heard something like that before? Now that we've proven our witness is a comedian of sorts, I'd like to turn to our defense attorney before returning to testimony. Of course. Don't tell me, Revenge. Believe me, any comic relief I may provide is entirely unintentional. And let's see what you've got for us, Mr. Justice.
Take that!
Nope.
Hold it!
A bad habit, I know. Yes, well, actually, I guess in more cases, the Christian is sounds wrong. End quote. The court is forced to agree with you. Please refrain from mild conjecture. Only I could believe that. Well, that's kind of what you want from a testimony, really. Keep in mind what matters. How and why was Drew Mission killed? If they ever poured the coffee, that's not going to change. But if that coffee didn't kill him, we need to find what did and prove it.
Hold it!
Did something in the studio that night? When does this sound familiar? Have I heard something like that before? Now that we've proven our witness is a comedian of sorts, I'd like to turn to our defense attorney before returning to the testimony. By which you mean... Of course. Don't tell me, Mission. Believe me, yeah.
Take that!
Really, I'm gonna have to think this one through. Oh, of course, there's the mailbox. Well, third time's the charm, I guess. A letterbox? What did Mr. Burchell just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim had just finished writing a letter. Yeah, I said that, and yeah, it's true. Furthermore, you went on to tell us how you put the letter in a yellow envelope and put it in the letterbox. Oh, that very same letterbox was empty. In other words, that night, the yellow envelope disappeared. Ah, yes, intriguing. So an envelope has disappeared from the scene of the crime. Of course, this changes nothing. Huh? You have a point, Mr. Justice. What we're trying to figure out here is how the poison got into Mr. Mitchell. It's very important that the envelope the witness says he saw disappeared. Yeah. I still think this way will change anything you have for it. I wouldn't be so sure. The letter disappeared from the crime scene that night. It's the red letter.
Objection!
Nope.
Objection!
Nope. Damn it.
Hold it!
Nothing could be more serious than an envelope disappearing from that studio, and you were hiding that fact from us. Yes, well, actually. I don't argue the possibility that it has disappeared from that studio. The hair forehead isn't that much more serious question before us.
Hold it! Objection!
Okay,
Hold it!
let's try again, shall we? Fifth time's the charm.
Objection!
What did you say? As a fine letter did. Which was picked up by the mailman, I assume?
Of course, which means the envelope had a stamp on it.
A stamp? Ah,
As we all know, stamps come with dried glue on the back. While you use the glue, you have to wet it by licking the stamp.
Objection!
no one was talking to us. He licked stamps in this thing.
Objection!
Even if you wanted to talk to him, you couldn't. Use that outlaw.
Objection!
Okay, so he licked the stamp. But wait,
How does that explain the atropine on the rim of the coffee?
Objection!
He licked the back of a poison stamp. The poison must be on his tongue, yes? What would then happen if you put the coffee mug to his mouth, Those traces on the mug weren't the killer's doing, it was the other way around.
what?
The coffee mug didn't poison Mr. Misham. Mr. Misham poisoned the coffee mug himself.
Order? Order, order. But that doesn't, does it?
Recall, if you would, atroquinine is a slow-acting poison, yes? The poison entered his body when he put the stamp on that envelope. But his time wasn't up until the very moment he touched his lips to that cup of joe.
You have something to add, Mr. Bushel?
Uh-oh, his nose is picking up another scent.
As I believe I mentioned earlier. Well, that's the thing, see? After he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something. Yes, stamp, so-called postage stamp, unquote. Maybe he'd just run out?
Incidentally, we searched the desk drawer at the scene of the crime. There were no stamps, not a single one.
That does pose a problem. How will you prove now the stamp was coated with poison?
Actually, I'm glad no other stamps were found. Makes proving the stamp he used as poison possible.
Good show.
You can't even prove there was a stamp at the scene in the first place.
Take that!
Well, that certainly is a cute little frame, and by little I mean really little.
Was on the victim's desk, Your Honor. Quite empty, as you can see for yourself.
I noticed that too during my inspection. So what?
Apparently you weren't as observant as you should have been. You see, when you saw this frame, it was missing something quite important.
Missing something?
Yes, a pale bluish stain on the inside of the frame. A troquinine residue.
Why wasn't I told about this?
The frame is only 2 inches square. The face of the frame is even smaller. Maybe an inch wide at most.
You aren't seeing... Yes, indeed I am seeing.
Oh, but I am. Tell me, what fits in such a small frame? A commemorative stamp, perhaps?
Order! 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 A poison stamp was in this frame.
Impossible.
Prosecutor Gavin? Why would he put something like that on the book?
Don't tell me he had it there so he could commit suicide if the mood struck.
You know, can I say something? I had a thought, see? Watch Mr. Bushel, and please stop jittering around like that. The victim was a forger, right? There's a lot of money in that line of work. Forger's friends, makes enemies too. Simple.
So the poison stamp might be a murder weapon aimed at him.
Objection!
Oh, Rich. That's Rich. Leave the ridiculous flights of fancy to the Gaviner's song lyrics, please.
Finally, something we agree on.
The stamp was a murder weapon?
Nonsense. Murder is a simple business. Who would go to such lengths? No one. Oh, I disagree.
Just come again.
Recall, if you would, the victim's reclusive lifestyle. But during Misham hid from the world, he avoided meetings. His only contact with the outside world was the mail.
The mail?
Now, if you wanted to kill someone you couldn't meet, but you knew read letters, the stamp would be the perfect weapon.
Ridiculous. Where's your proof? I want the proof.
Just evidence that these poison stamp was sent to him as a murder weapon. Might not have evidence, per se. Things are finally starting to come together. I think I know what happened. I don't believe it, but I can see it. I don't know how Mr. Mission was killed.
Well, fill us in, Mr. Justice.
One piece of evidence points to the truth, Your Honor. I can show you how someone with the intent to kill sent Mr. Mission the stamp of death.
Take that!
Isn't this the envelope? The one from 7 years ago?
Think about the text of the letter again. There are 2 pages in the envelope. This is page 1. And this is page 2. I want to draw your attention to one phrase in particular. Send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. The enclosed stamp, Your Honor.
Ah!
In other words, if I have this.
The stamp, poison, understand, lick, gasp, end quote.
Now, why have you done exactly as the letter asked? "15 minutes would have elapsed between affixing the stamp and mailing the letter. The clock started ticking, and when the time came, he drew his last breath. And the murder weapon would be taken away from the scene.
Quite conveniently, thanks to the postal system.
Such a splendid imagination you have, Herr Forehead. Let me confirm one thing with you, if I might. So, this poisoned stamp was inside this envelope from 7 years ago? Yeah? Is that what you'd have us believe, really? Well... yes, a very small possibility. How small, I don't know. A poison stamp in this envelope. A stamp that then became the murder weapon. How do you intend to prove this seeming coincidence? 7 years ago, we don't even know who sent the letter. And your answer is silence. I see. Very well. I moved on. It's not nice to pick on the Fräulein. Emma! Well, like my Christmas. Yeah. Don't quit your day job. Don't you have a crime scene to be looking after, Fräulein Detective? Someone come take you out? Yeah. Miss? Care to explain yourself, Fräulein Detective? That's right! A poison detection spray.
Produce the red envelope at once. You can open it under authority of the court. Well, would you look at that?
Objection!
Absolutely outrageous. Tell me, why didn't this murder take place 7 years ago? Well...
Figured what out? And put his decisive evidence in the frame. Can I make a statement here on the record? I, Spark-Raised Duke Bushel, claim this scoop is mine. Duke Mission killed in cold blood. By son of 7 years old Clara. No, maybe something more succinct. So falls after 7-year delay. Get him out of here. Order, order, order! I see no room for further argument. I admit this is all coming as quite a shock, to think that a murder weapon reached his mouth after 7 years. Stamp his ticket straight to afterlife, end quote.
Uh-oh, think the witness is bad influence on our judge. Yep.
See no reason for further debate on this matter. The sender of that letter 7 years ago could hardly have been our defendant.
I think we just won.
Very well, this court finds the defendant.
Is this the right future of our legal system?
Prosecutor Gavin?
A ticket to the afterlife from 7 years ago? Tickets for Gavin's shows are invalid after 2 weeks.
But it doesn't make sense any other way.
It boggles my mind that so many people haven't noticed it. There's a fatal contradiction in her forehead's claim.
A contradiction?
A poison stamp was placed in this envelope 7 years ago. Thereupon it was framed until now. If that's the case, then why would Joe Measham have done what he did? Explain that. You must realize it was poison. Therein lies the rub. 7 years ago, the forger drew Measham into the trap and put the stamp in the frame. I do not believe this. But this begs the question, why 7 years later did he use that stamp on the night of the murder? Surely you don't mean to suggest that Mr. Measham simply forgot? He put the murder weapon in a frame on his desk for 7 years and forgot? You expect us to believe he sprang the trap on himself? I'm glad to see we're all back in the real world. Welcome back to reality. We've been waiting for you. Okay, then how did you explain the poison stamp that was in this envelope? A poison stamp? Where exactly is this poison stamp again? Have you brought it to court for us? I see no proof that such a thing ever existed. What about the atroquinine residue, huh? Oh, I agree. That does seem to be atroquinine residue. Her forehead is certainly not damp. Yeah, but even if your precious poison stamp did exist, Joe Measham never would have used it. That is all. I can't believe it. The poison traces match up. It can't be coincidence.
I'm afraid you're right. Yeah.
What? I've been on the wrong track this whole time, I'm sure of it. Traces of a truck on you, the envelope, the frame, and Joe Measham's mysterious death. They're all connected somehow.
Well, Mr. Justice, you have a conclusion for us?
The defense stands by its case, Your Honor. We've seen that the logical outcome of the evidence makes no sense, which means that one of our clues must be a fake. Ah, a fake clue? Fascinating. And if we find this fake, your wild fantasies will prove quite reasonable, yeah?
The victim was a fake clue? I'm afraid I don't understand.
I'll explain. We have an envelope, a frame, and a mug linked by poison. That all makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the victim himself. Congratulations, you've completely lost me. So the fake evidence is none other than the master of fake himself, the forger? Makes a good story, I'll give you that. The fake clue. Fakes, forgeries. I don't know if I'm right, but I'm going with it anyway. What if our forger is the fake? Come again. 7 years ago, our forger sniffed the trap and stepped aside. 7 years passed. Now the forger stumbles into that very same trap and dies. Why?
That's what I want to know.
because the forger who was killed was a fake. Here we are again. The victim was a fake. Well, given the fact there was a joint effort, yeah. One forger smelled the trap, one forger fell into the trap. That's 2 forgers, and one of them was a fake. Order! 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 So you're telling us that the victim was a fake? Well, if he was the fake, who was the real forger? You'd better not be claiming there was some kind of switcheroo. Dream Mission wasn't a real forger. I wonder who a person could have been. Understood, Your Honor. There can be only one explanation, really. The real identity of the forger and his Dream Mission is none other than his only daughter, Vera Mission.
Order! 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 Mr. Justice, this is going out on a limb, even for you.
Let's consider it before you write off entirely. If you look at the paintings in the studio, one fact becomes quite clear. Forgery had been taking place in that studio for quite some time. The forger wasn't caught in that trap 7 years ago. This can only mean that the one who was caught in the trap wasn't the forger.
Well, actually, that does make a certain kind of sense.
One more thing. Only 2 sets of fingerprints were found in the forger's studio. Dream Mission's and Vera Mission's. We know that Dream Mission wasn't the forger. That leaves only one possibility by process of elimination. The forger was Vera Mission. Well... fascinating.
Vera Mission? You been paying attention to the show so far?
Let's just ask when we're done with it, shall we? Who are you? Who is the forger Dream Mission? Was that an expression of emotion on her face? You're staring holes in the prosecutor Gavin's face. I'm used to being stared at by Fräuleins, believe me. Though they usually talk to me too. Tell us, were you the one who forged those works of art? Yes.
So the forger Dream Mission was you?